I'm Jim.
And I'm Rosie.
And this is Cruising Sea Venture. Join us and our new crew members Blake and his brother Barkley
as we cruise our home, Sea Venture, wherever she may take us.
We've left Fool's Inlet and headed Annan Bear Observatory today, which was phenomenal, and we're cruising toward Blake Channel, toward Wrangell. I think a lot of locals call it the back channel because it's not the most traveled route to Wrangell along here. Here is an overview of the area, showing Annan Creek at the lower right, the city of Wrangell located on the northwest tip of Wrangell Island, and the back channel running up the east side of Wrangell Island. The passage had steep hillsides and cliffs along the edges, with glimpses of snowfields in the hills when the clouds parted enough to let you see through. As we approached Berg Bay, we could see a fishing boat anchored in the bay. Some boaters had told us Berg Bay was a great anchorage, while others had said it was too deep and narrow to make a comfortable anchorage. We found the anchorage very nice, and a place that we will certainly return to. The circle you see around the boat is our anchor alarm circle and is based on the amount of chain we have out.
We're in this narrow little Berg Bay. The charted depths are about 38 feet in the spot where we're at, and we couldn't do any better than 68. And then we were a little concerned about the proximity to shore, but Jim took the tender out and checked things out, and with the tender touching, with the bow touching the shore, he was still in 20 feet of water. And we're going to lose 10 feet over the course of the next low tide. So there he is at the head of the bay behind the sailboat, and behind the Forest Service cabin back that way is supposed to be a trailhead, so we're going to go see what that looks like. All right, the sun is out and we're heading out for a short hike, we think. We're heading out for a walk. We don't know what it'll be, but we're gonna go find out. Look at this, it's beautiful here. It's nice to see all the blue sky. There's snow up in the hills. And behind that Forest Service building is a trail, so we're told. We'll go find out. All right, we've tied off the tender. The tide should be coming up still a bit more. So we think we're in a pretty good place there. And yeah, we're going to go explore this area.
The sun is out.
Woohoo! It's kind of nice. We haven't seen it in a little bit. This is the Berg Bay cabin. And I think the idea is you can come here in a skiff with a group and rent the cabin.
Yeah.
And you have a dry space to stay and
Part
can
of the
hang out here.
longest national forest cabin. A couple bunks, table, wood stove, the guest.
And some miscellaneous stuff, so here we go. You are here. And our plan is to go check out this Berg Creek Trail. Hey bears!
They've opened this trail up too.
Yeah,
You know?
that's nice. Ooh, look at this. And here's a trailhead sign in case we get lost on the other side. Oh wow, look at this. That was a fun little excursion. And Jim's retrieving our anchor buddy as we speak, and boats are sitting out in the bay, and we're going to go around the corner and see what's what. We're at the base of this waterfall in 200 feet of water. Look at that. Look how it's cut its way through that crack. Selfie moment. Okay. We're entering the Aaron Creek area, and where we are is marshlands when the tide is out, and we're in about 15 feet of water here with a 21-foot exchange. It's crazy how big this space is. This is the river delta from a distance. It's high tide, but where we are right now is Should be the river. We're looking out at the entrance of Berg Bay, and it is super still and really quite stunning. It's a very small, intimate anchorage.
On our way to Wrangell this morning after leaving Berg Bay, and pretty heavy rain and misty out, but nice and calm and quite pretty. Just a little damp.
We're approaching the Narrows on the back passage to Wrangell.
Where there's lots of current in a narrow passage I like to drive, so there's no surprises from the autopilot. Just makes me feel more in control. Might not be, but we feel that way, don't we, Barkley?
Sure. Here's the Narrows. And then here it is on the chart. Oh, wait, there's a cat in the way. There, on the chart. It's a rainy, misty day, and we're actually just cruising our way to Wrangell. Here's the chart. We're just going to go around the point and into town. So we're headed that way.
Minderella and her tender compared to Sea Venture on the chart. You can see the two colors of water coming ahead. We're in a kind of a glacial water now, crossing over into the very clear line that becomes the river water of the Stikine River, which is north of Wrangell here. The outskirts of Wrangell from the water. We're here at the guest dock in Wrangell, Alaska, in the Heritage Marina. Thank you for watching this episode. In the next episode, we will leave Wrangell and continue to explore Southeast Alaska. Stay tuned for our Q&A and an update on our winter plans. Until next time, wishing you no wind and flat seas. Well, today's Q&A is going to include one question and an update on our upcoming winter plans. I'm doing this Q&A, it is September 8th, and we are anchored at the south end of Ruth Island, which is at the base of the Patterson Glacier, just north of Petersburg, Alaska. So I'm sitting here in the evening with my beer in the cockpit. This is the view I've been looking at for the last hour or so, thinking I really got to do this Q&A so I can get this video finished so we can get it uploaded. The theory is we're going to see if we can upload this as we're cruising past Petersburg, Alaska without stopping. We'll see. Anyway, So, today's the question. Do you, and if so, how do you know if Sea Venture is securely anchored and not dragging the anchor, especially if it's really windy out? Well, yeah, we do know if Sea Venture is moves while at anchor. We usually put out about 5 times the depth in the chain. And, maybe sometime we should do a complete Tech Talk video on anchoring and how we determine where to anchor in a bay and how much chain to put out and the process of setting the anchor so we know we shouldn't go anywhere. And if you think that's a good idea, let me know in the comments, and that's something I can work on. So, anyway, how do we manage knowing that the boat is where it's supposed to be while at anchor? Well, there's a few things we do. The first thing we do is we set an anchor alarm. So let's go to the bridge, the pilot house, whatever we call it, and I'll show you what we're doing in this anchorage that we're at here. Look at the screen. This is our main navigation computer, right? Running time zero navigation software. This computer and the navigation software stays on 24 hours a day when we're not tied to a dock. So it's always up and running. The circle you see here is set while we're deploying the anchor. And what we do is we drop the anchor, and the moment it touches the bottom and is hanging straight down, we set the alarm circle. The red line you see here is our course line. And so right here, oops, let's make that go away. Right there is the point where we drop the anchor and set the circle in the middle. We put out about that 5 times the depth in chain, and we back down. And in this case, we backed down in this direction over to here, where we are. Now, we've been here for a couple nights, actually, 2.5 days, and there's been really no wind. So at the point we back down, the boat is hung out in this corner over here of our anchor circle. But if it's windy and we move around, we'll drift all around. We set this circle about 30 or 50 feet bigger than the amount of chain we put out. So in theory, if the wind blew, Sea Venture could move all around in this circle, but not reach the edge of the circle. If she did reach the edge of the circle, let me tell you what happens. An alarm goes off, and let me flip around here. This is the sound you hear aboard Sea Venture if she ever touches the edge of that circle. And that alarm does not stop. So that is our anchor alarm, and that is step 1 of what we do. The second thing we do is we set a wind alarm, and that's up here in our wind instruments that I don't know if you can really see right now. Right now the wind is only blowing at 1 knot. But we set an alarm up here. There's a little process I go through, and depending on the anchorage we decide what to set the alarm at. And so we set the alarm at 10 or 15 or 20 knots. And if the wind blows to that amount, this unit sets off an alarm. Doesn't mean the boat is moving, it just means it's gotten windy. If that happens during the night, I get up, we take a look, make sure everything looks good, make sure we still feel good with our anchor alarm, and that all is good with the world. Later on in an upcoming video, you'll see us anchored with the wind blowing between 25 and 30 knots in the middle of the night. But that's coming up. Lastly, if it's windy, there's a third thing we do to manage our anchor alarm. And for that, we need to go down in our cabin. So let's go down the stairs. In our cabin, we have a television, and if I turn the television on, one of our options on the screen, as soon as it boots up, is to repeat our computer monitor from the pilot house, which shows our anchor, alarm, and the position of the boat. I suppose I should have mentioned that the boat is right now being tracked by 8 satellites, and our GPS accuracy is 5.6 feet. So I can see this anytime during the night, if it's real windy out. We don't leave this on every night. Just if it's windy, over 15 or 20 knots of wind at night, I'll turn this on overnight. It's in the nighttime mode at night, so it's not nearly as bright as you can see it right now. But it allows us to just kind of roll over half asleep and see the exact position of the boat in relation to our alarm circle. So I hope that answered your question about anchor alarms aboard Sea Venture. Now for our winter plans. Well, you know, we've been asked, especially given our late arrival in Alaska, the second week of July, and with the whole COVID-19 thing, and with the border with Canada still closed to recreational boating, what did we plan to do? It's now the second week of September. Usually it's at a point of time when most cruising boats are long gone. And for the most part, right this week, the fishing fleet up here is headed back to Washington for the most part. So after a lot of thought about it, rather than go back to Washington and hang out for the winter, we've decided to challenge ourselves. And we are staying in Southeast Alaska through the winter, cruising as much as the weather will allow. Now, when the weather doesn't allow, we have secured a slip at the Heritage Marina in Wrangell, Alaska. That's our slip for the winter, and that's where we just ended this video that you just watched, actually. So we're kind of excited to spend the winter in a small town, go cruising in the snow, and see what that's like. And as we always seem to do, we have some more improvements and upgrades we want to continue to do on Sea Venture, and we can do those, some of those at least, throughout the winter. It also is going to leave us a variety of options in the spring, come March or April. But that is something we will cover in a later video as well. So again, thanks for watching. Stay safe and have a great week, and we should hopefully have a video posted next week as well. Bye.